వెల్కమ్ బ్యాక్. దావోస్ పర్యటన ఉన్న ఏపీ సీఎం చంద్రబాబు అక్కడ ఏర్పాటు చేసిన వన్ ఫ్యామిలీ వన్ ఎంటర్‌ప్రెన్యూర్ పై ఏర్పాటు చేసిన చర్చకు హాజరయ్యారు. ఇప్పుడు లైవ్ చూద్దాం.
Additional clean energy to the grid, fresh water conserved or regenerated. So I think the good news is most tech companies are becoming much more sophisticated, and so are our investors, maybe most importantly in our customers, in thinking about not only what are you delivering us from a technological outcomes perspective, but who's the company behind that and what are your practices, and really choosing to partner with companies and enterprises that are investing across the whole value chain from sustainability, inclusive growth, human rights. So we're pleased to be on that journey, and I'm so excited to see some of the largest companies in the world, folks who are here like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, etc. Some of our hyperscalers that we're so heavily reliant on for this digital age.
Sumanth, how does one become an entrepreneur in the clean energy space?
Look, I think to talk about what Nigel was talking about, the demand side clearly is there. So I think that is one thing that is established. I think beyond that, it's a matter of taking risk. Having I think one basic precondition for being an entrepreneur is you need to have a level of education. You need to be able to understand what's happening around you. You need to be able to sense, what are the opportunity sets around you. You need to be able to go and talk to people to raise financing and so on. So for all of that, I think education is a basic prerequisite. So I think along with the One Family, One Entrepreneur program, clearly the whole thrust on education really needs to be strengthened to the extent it isn't already there. But certainly that is an area that needs to be looked at. I think the other important thing is, risk-taking in India so far has not really been a very positive thing. Everybody has been very risk-averse in general, certainly in northern India, where I grew up, perhaps not so much in Andhra. But risk-taking is something that we need to encourage. We need to make examples of people who've tried again and been successful to prove the fact that taking risk and not succeeding there's nothing wrong with that, right? So take the stigma away from being an entrepreneur and not being successful, because not everybody is successful. The reality is that a lot of entrepreneurs do not end up being successful. So I think the basic prerequisites of being an entrepreneur need to be fostered. Financing also, as I said, needs to be there. And then clean energy or any other sector for that matter, I think it doesn't matter. As long as you can sense what the opportunity is and are willing to take the risk of jumping out and taking advantage of it. I think that's the fundamental fact.
Ms. Nilagani, when we speak about women's empowerment, it sometimes happens independent of where the power center lies in a deeply patriarchal society that we sort of live in. So my question is, when it comes to decision-making power, when it comes to asset ownership, and not just being treated as supplementary income in a household defined by men, how do you actually change mindsets?
I think mindsets are changing. It's slower than we would like, but it's definitely changing. I think, women are in India and globally staying longer in education than men. This has changed just in the last 15 years. So also they can better see, thanks to much enabling state policy, I can only talk about India, both at the state level and at the union government level, there's been tremendous enabling policy for women. The self-help groups are just one of many, many examples. So I think in that sense, a woman who can bring economic dignity to her home automatically has a better voice. There are some exceptions, but so we do want the economic empowerment that Chris was also talking about, and which is one of their big flagship programs at the Gates Foundation. I just want to say one thing more here, that we know, as Sumanth also just said, that 1 in 10 entrepreneurs usually succeed. We don't want with this program to set up 9 to fail without some kind of safety net You know, in the West, the free markets, they talk about free markets, but they have tremendous safety nets for their entrepreneurs. How can you imagine? So if I'm a young entrepreneur, say coming into the renewable energy sector, and I want to bring money into the family, I want dignity, I may fail the first time. How will I have the courage to go to the second time and the second time like other entrepreneurial societies do? It's because there's a societal and a state safety net that you can rely on. So I think designing that safety net so that the 9 who may not succeed will be tempted to either go back or find, because of their experience, an opportunity maybe to get a job with the 10th successful entrepreneur. Because you need to see that upward mobility pathway, whether it's a woman or a man. So just a small caution on this, that in addition to one family, one entrepreneur, we need to define the safety nets so that, yes, there is risk appetite, but you don't have to take unnecessary risk, which will completely drop you off the deep end.
Yeah. Mr. Andrea, final question to you before I come back to the Chief Minister. Regulatory frameworks also need to move to ensure that what we are talking about is a real enabler. And I'll give you a small example. I have a very, very small little business of my own, which my wife and I run in our part-time. It's in one of our hill states. And then we've come across regulation in that hill state which says that if you aren't a resident of that hill state, then you can't have this particular type of business, despite the fact that I actually employ 2 or 3 people. And that really hurts a small-time business person like me. I mean, it's not my primary job. But therefore, the question to you, I think, is important, that frameworks need to be the ultimate enablers. So if we're talking about grassroots and Andhra Pradesh, and perhaps India at a larger level, what's missing?
Yeah. So if you look at the ingredients, there are several ingredients, but there is identity and trust. There is the ability to start and run a business, the ability to make secure payments and get credit. All of these are trust-building frameworks. Right now, even I looked at the various states in Australia and the rate tables. One of the things, because Australia is a Commonwealth construct, every state has its own regulation. So if you